Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 20th Anniversary TimesTalks Festival. I'm Michelle Gray, the Creative Director of the New York Times live conversation, performance and screening series TimesTalks. For 20 years, TimesTalks has showcased world-class journalists and creative thought leaders who have used the arts, sciences, and public office as a lens for change and a platform for conversation. There's more in store following today's TimesTalks, so we encourage you to take the time to visit our exciting activations, particularly the Smorgasbord Food Hall downstairs. Now down to business, I'm delighted to welcome you to today's event with the worldwide wonder group Pentatonix. The three-time Grammy Award-winning and multi-platinum selling a cappella group has sold nearly 10 million albums worldwide, received more than 3 billion views of their music videos on YouTube, and performed for in front of hundreds of thousands of fans at their sold-out shows around the world. Moderating today's conversation is Ben Sisario, who covers the music industry for the New York Times and has written about Pentatonix several times over the past years. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Ben Sisario and Pentatonix.
Hello.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy.
Out of my mind, out of my mind.
Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me.
Too many times,
My love, he makes me feel like nobody else but my love. He doesn't love me, so I tell myself, to pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone too. Don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you want him, you ain't getting over him. I got new rules, I count them. I got new rules, I count them. Are you that somebody? Tell me you're somebody. I got new rules, I count them. Are you that somebody? I keep pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. Now I'm sending back from it. I finally see the pattern. Oh, but my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, I do. To pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone too. Don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you want him, you ain't getting over him. I got new rules, I count them. I got new rules, I count them. Are you that somebody? Tell me you're that somebody. I got new rules, I count them. Are you that somebody? I gotta tell them to myself. If I let you know, you can't tell nobody. I'm talking about nobody. Are you responsible? Boy, I gotta watch my back, cause I'm not just anybody. 1, to pick up the phone. You know he's only got it cause he's strong and alone. 2, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you want him, you ain't getting over him.
I got new rules, I
Hey,
count them.
yeah, I got new rules, I count them, baby. He's strong and alone, so don't pick up the phone. I got some rules, I count them. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wow, oh my gosh, don't cry. Thank you. Thank you, New York Times, for having us. This is so cool. Thank you. I literally know everyone in the first 3 rows. What's up, you guys?
The best. Or where? Oh. This?
Oh,
Is this right?
Oh, got it.
Musical chairs.
Sorry.
All right.
We did it.
We did.
I don't
it.
know what happened.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, how incredible was what we just saw?
Oh my God,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's on the new record.
Yes.
PTX Presents Top Pop Volume 1. It came out on Friday. That's a really interesting arrangement and choice of songs. Can you guys just talk about how you chose this, how you put it together when you're creating a song like this?
How we chose the song? Well, Kevin kind of had the idea to mix up new rules. And Are You That Somebody?
Yeah, I did like a small Instagram video of it, and then Scott was like, "We should try this out for like a fuller arrangement." So we kind of
I watched the Twitter video you put up like 10 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, thanks.
And I was like, we should do that with Pentatonix.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so then we just fleshed out the arrangement, and this was, I don't know, it's one of my favorites to do. So.
Yeah, it's so fun to sing.
Yeah.
Such a good song. But yeah, we can demonstrate how we arrange it.
Oh sure.
Yeah. Okay. You guys want?
Where do you start when you're doing something like
Where
this?
do we start? We usually start with the beatbox, just because the groove kind of inspires vocal lines. And so Kevin,
Sure. I'm gonna try it.
us off.
I can try. Yeah, I can just try it. 1, 2, 3.
Usually at the bass.
Hello. I'm on. Do you want to go?
I'm still. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah. So then we add the bass, which is Matt. This is Matt, everyone. And then for the background parts, we usually just have two people doing like a parallel harmony. Whoever's in the background parts. So if I say. And then the solo lays on top. When to pick up the phone, you know he's only got it 'cause he's strong and alone. 2, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend, you know you don't wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you want him, you ain't getting over him. I got new rules, I got him. Yeah, that's like the basic structure, yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, you make it look easy.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
piece of cake, I can do that. But, I mean, obviously there's a tremendous amount of technique, practice, right? How do you guys do it? I mean, how do you, as a person who can't sing out of a paper bag, how do you stay in tune and, execute that idea?
Well, the beauty of a cappella is that you really have to listen to one another. That's, I think, one of the most important things. And when you're listening, that's how you figure out tuning, that's how you figure out beats, that's how you figure out how this unit works. That's one of the most important things, just being in tune with each other, kind of like emotionally, like kind of spiritually in that way, because it's just, music is kind of like that. But that's when you work out all the technique there too.
I think over the years we've also found, and with Matt as well, we have a really great balance. And so it's very, very easy to tune and very easy to listen to each other just because we're all doing our own thing and concentrating, but it all feels very balanced. There's nothing that's throwing anything off to where you're like, oh, now I'm confused and I can't hear. Yeah. We're all very good about making sure that we're all in it, I guess.
Yeah,
In our
it only
lane.
takes one person kind of falling out of tune for it to fall apart, and there's
Yeah.
no panic,
Yeah.
like the panic of falling out of tune. We're all like, oh, here we go. But it took years. But I feel like actually in the past year, 2 years, we've really locked into a good place where we
Yeah.
tune well most of the time.
Yeah.
there was a moment of sound check this morning, but it was early.
Yeah, I think everybody's really aware of each other.
Yeah.
Important. Yeah.
How much time might you spend just developing what that arrangement is and going through it?
There's kind of two parts to it. We do like a pre-arrangement, we call it, where we just take our iPhone and start a voice memo, and we just stand in a circle, and then we do he starts the beat, and then he starts singing the bass line, and we kind of improvise random things.
And you should listen to some. I should like tweet one of those voice memos. They're hilarious.
They are.
The one
so
for
messy.
Hallelujah is so full out. We're like all belting and stuff. And then we get in with Ben Bram. He was the co-founder of Pentatonix and our arranger. And we just sit down with him, and he fleshes out as much as he can decipher. and then we kind of clean it up, and then we all learn the sheet music.
Yeah.
Sheet music. So
Yeah,
you prepare sheet music and charts.
Yeah, we write it out most of the time. So I mean, a lot of arrangements we've done without sheet music, but now we do it because we try to make the chords more complex, and we can push ourselves further if we put it on paper.
Yeah, especially because we're touring so much, we need to figure out some way to make this more efficient. So that's why we figured out this kind of way of arranging.
So Dua Lipa and Aaliyah. Tell us about that. Why the two?
Pop queens.
I don't know.
The two of them.
I don't know. Honestly, I was literally jamming at home, and I just had this random idea because I was like, oh, I want to try something with new rules. And then I was listening to just some old hip hop because I love Timbaland, and I don't know. I just started messing with it in my head. And so when I did the Instagram, the short arrangement, it was just cool that we could take that and make it something fuller because it just I feel like really works with what we do.
And that Aaliyah bass line is like so iconic.
So iconic.
I feel like you could mash
Sure.
up Are You That Somebody with a lot of songs.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
cool. It's just one of those songs that's just so cool and everyone really enjoys it. And New Rules is like one of the best pop songs to come out of that last year, so it felt like a good fit, yeah.
So I got to tell you, for me, sort of like growing up, a cappella group, to me, kind of suggested like guys in crew cuts and sweater vests and singing like college songs. And I mean, you guys, I think almost single-handedly have sort of changed the perception of what that whole idea is, an a cappella group.
Wow.
Thank you. That's very humbling. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Were you consciously trying to do that? Did you like come up and say, this is something that people think is lame, but it's not. Let's show them a different way.
Not in so many words. I mean, it started out, we started out on the sing-off, and it was mostly about being gimmicky and emulating sounds, and we had that for a while. I think that's how we kind of grabbed people's attention, but after a while we were like, oh, this doesn't really feel like, I feel like we've matured past this point. We would just want to make music with our voices. And I don't think we were ever consciously like, we have to make it not cheesy, we have to make it not cheesy. I think that's just the music, we ended up enjoying making.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting too is that not all of our backgrounds started in a cappella. We all liked different music growing up. It wasn't like from a young age I was listening to a cappella music. It didn't even really come into most of our lives until this happened. It was more about like choir and what that brought and all the different types of music that we listened to. So I think that says a lot about the group and the ideas that we have. We all have such different tastes in music and all such different backgrounds of growing up in music that we brought those ideas forward. And then like Mitch said, like just wanted to use our voices to make all the sounds vocally, like how you would hear them vocally, not as gimmicky as like recreating them. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. I was like, and we got there.
Well, I think that song that you just did is a kind of interesting example of your approach because it's pop music. It's not old songs. But you're actually, you're meshing two songs together that people wouldn't necessarily pick. So you're really engaging with pop culture in a way when you do these songs, and I think fans appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
That was unanimous. Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Okay, I want to talk about the origins of the group. You guys have talked about this before, but it still kind of blows my mind that the 5-piece formed only one day before your audition.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the sing-off. I mean, how did you pull that off? That sounds incredible.
Well, we already had a really solid foundation with the three of us because we had an a cappella trio in high school. And it was Scotty's idea actually to audition for the sing-off. And the head arranger that we work with was like, you guys need more members. So we added the two, and I skipped my high school graduation.
Yeah.
So we all had like a bunch of conflicts, and that was which I'm glad about because it's really boring. That was like the only day that we all had off right before. So thank goodness it worked because when we all sang together, it was just magical, and we were really excited about it.
Yeah, I had sung by myself with Avi because I met with him at a coffee bean. That's like where we met. And then I had like watched his YouTube video, and the way he was playing cello and beatboxing, I was like, he's got it. Like, he's gonna show up and know what he's doing. So there was like, I had like confidence in that type of way, but we didn't know when we all sang together if it was gonna work or not, and it did, which was good.
I like texted
Obviously.
Scott like weeks before and was like, so are we still flying out? Am I still flying out to go to the audition? Is it happening?
Yeah, and I wasn't sure. I was just like, yes, come on out, we'll figure it out.
But I mean, did any of you say like, wait a second, we're auditioning for a TV show tomorrow?
I mean, I think we kind of knew what it was, so I don't think any of us were like so anxious or anything. We're like, let's just try this. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Yes.
Again, they make it look easy. I want to talk about the music industry and your career a little bit. You guys, obviously, you were created to be on a TV talent show. You won. You were dropped by a record company, and then you kept making music on your own, making lots of videos, interacting with fans all the time.
Yeah.
Then you got signed to another record label, and you won 3 Grammys.
Yes, that was
On the one hand, it seems like an unusual track, but on another, it seems like you're kind of doing exactly what artists today should do, about controlling things yourself as best you can, building a fan base and sort of being as honest with them as you can about things. Did you approach that in any sort of deliberate way of like, this is the way we want to build our own career?
Yeah, I think once we got dropped, we were so disappointed, but we got out of that reality show deal. And so I feel like our plan was, let's start a YouTube channel and build our own fame and build our own fan base, and then we'll have leverage going into a new record deal. And that's exactly what happened with RCA too, which was cool.
Yeah. I would also say that the coolest thing about today is that I think unique artists have an opportunity to showcase who they are because of YouTube, because of internet, because of streaming. And I don't think necessarily an a cappella group would necessarily have this opportunity unless they had the resources today. Because the coolest thing about a cappella is that you have to see what we do to really believe it. You have to see the bass singer singing these crazy notes. You have to hear me doing the beatboxing. You have to hear their 3-part harmonies. And that's kind of what the magic is, the video and the audio. And YouTube really is a great platform for that. And so, and there was nothing really like that, I think, before. So, the music industry has changed so much where people can just showcase themselves through YouTube, through other avenues, and you can kind of create that organic fan base that allows you to shine through.
I think the YouTube videos were really key in,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
in just reaching people, but also doing a lot of work, putting a lot out there. I mean, Prince famously got really frustrated with his record company because they told him, like, you can only have 1 album a year. Don't put out anything else in the meantime.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys were sort of constantly putting out new work and getting reaction to it. I mean, that seems like something that couldn't really be done 20 years ago, and you're really doing it well.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, YouTube, I mean, was a big part of that. Thank goodness we had that platform where we could just spout out content after content, and it really helped us in the long run.
It kept us focused too. It was always like, we always had a goal. What's the next video? What's the next viral moment?
Yeah.
How can we push ourselves? And I felt like we didn't have to rely on anyone but ourselves to like motivate ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and besides social media too, it was the best way to interact with fans because there's so many different TV programs going on now where it's like when this one ends, then the next one happens, and the next one happens, the next one happens. And so we had to stay in contact with everyone and wanted to work hard too. And it was nice just to organically and truthfully grow ourselves without anyone saying what we needed to be. We could all kind of figure out together and then built that working model. So then we were like, well, this model works. So now that's, no one tried to change what our working model was because we were able to organically and honestly build it ourselves.
Yeah, because I think the cool thing is that you can kind of A&R yourself today because you get to put out material and fans can react. So if they like it, you're doing something right. If they don't like it, then you need to change things. So you can kind of figure out what really works, and then I think a label can come in and say, okay, well, we can take what this thing that, like you said, the working model, and grow that exponentially because they have resources that we might not necessarily have.
Matt.
Hi.
Matt Salerno. You're the newest member of the group.
I am.
Yeah. You were just announced in January, and you started singing last fall with them. What's it been like to just jump into the middle of this band?
It's been a dream. Like, I was singing in a wedding band, and before, I was a wedding singer. Yeah. And I was singing in another a cappella group, and I always loved and said I wanted to do a cappella for the rest of my life. But that's like, how can you say you do that? You know, like, how do you do that? And so getting the call, and I worked with Ben on a bunch of stuff before, and so getting the call to come to LA, it was like, wow. It was like, whoa. And then the day, it was so funny because I landed in LA, and then that same night, Ben texted me and was like, hey, can you record on the Kirsten's album tonight? And I was like, maybe can I do it tomorrow? He's like, okay, great, let's do it tomorrow. And so I recorded as soon as the next morning, and then 2 days later recorded on the Jennifer Hudson track. This doesn't happen. You move to LA, and this doesn't happen. So it's been a dream, and they've been so overly supportive. It really is a family that you walk into. And so I walked in, and I immediately felt like family, and it was good. So it was easy, yeah.
Was it at all hard for the group to kind of find a new chemistry with the new member?
Actually, it wasn't really that hard.
Yeah.
Matt's really great and really sweet, and he just fit in. You know, we were excited to have him, and it's just been amazing.
I just
really,
remember our first rehearsal at my house, too.
Yeah.
He came in and he knew every single song perfectly.
Oh my God.
And we would sing through and we were like, cool, next song.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, that was great.
And imagine me, I'm expecting we did the first song, we were done, and they were like, cool. I was like, wait, that's it? No. I was like, I'm doing something right.
Like,
So-
check and check.
Yeah. No, Matt said that he had this playlist of all of the songs that we ever had, and he said he just continuously listens to that playlist every single day.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so.
I wish I was
It's a
motivated.
testament to who this guy is, man.
Yeah, it was every Pentatonix. It was called Pentatonix Shed Playlist. And as soon as I got the call to I was like, I gotta learn all this music. So I put every song, every live performance, every live arrangement in one playlist and just listened to it nonstop. So my roommates hated this. The only Pentatonix. Yeah, it's but
They no longer
it
like
paid off.
Pentatonix, but
Yeah, right.
It was funny.
Yeah, we lost a couple fans.
okay.
But it worked out. So, yeah.
So last year, just about a year ago, Avi Kaplan announced he was leaving. A really sweet video that you guys made announcing that. In the video, he talked about the difficulty of keeping up with the pace, the working pace of Pentatonix. Can you talk about that? What does it take? What do you have to do in a day or a week or a month to be Pentatonix?
I mean, you just have to always be on. I feel like we're always planning the next album, the next tour, the next anything, and it just feels like nonstop. And there's always a point where you're like, oh wow, we have 3 months of work left in touring, and even if you're burnt out, you're like, well, the whole group's depending on me. I have to push forward, and that can be really mentally taxing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of days away from home too, and I think that's something he really struggled with as well because he's very close with his family and friends, and we were gone most of the year for a while now, for a couple of years.
Well, and for the first 5 years too, it's like tour was so important to us because we have to continue grinding because that's how we were making money. That's how we were getting out there and getting our name out there. And so it was really, really important. So even during the breaks, you'd get an email sometime on tour being like, do you want to do this one show during your 1 week break? And we were like, okay, yeah. But then 3 other things would come up. So then that 1 week off would no longer be a week off. And
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
God.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
But it was like a
also
Grammys tribute or something. so
That's
you
also
can't say no.
testament to how hard you have to grind and how hard you have to work to get to where we are now. Now we can properly kind of schedule out our time to where we can,
Do it all.
I guess, use our time more wisely. But before it was continuous grinding, and it was really, really difficult and taxing on the voice and mentally and just physically.
For the first
everywhere.
5 years, I just never really made plans. I was always like, I'm just gonna assume we're working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you at all worried when Avi told you he wanted to leave?
Oh, yeah.
Did you think that the band might not be able to continue without him?
Well, that's exactly what I felt. I had really, really bad anxiety about
Yeah.
it because when we all came together, it was so magical. It just felt so good, and it worked so naturally. So I was like, this feels like a once in a lifetime thing, and I felt like if we lost a member, it was all gonna fall apart. That's that's what was my anxiety speaking. But and that's why we were really, really anxious going into this. But then Matt came along, and we felt a lot better. Yeah.
Exactly.
And when we had auditions, there was a few basses that were really holding their own. It was
Yeah.
awesome. But it was
Matt
scary.
package.
Matt got it.
He's booked.
Team Matt.
let's talk about the new record. Just came out. It's all covers and mashups. You guys want to talk about how you put these songs together, why you chose them? Your last album, I believe, was mainly originals.
Yeah.
And that seemed like a really conscious choice by the group, like we're going to do originals now.
Yeah.
But this is covers. Why did you decide to do that?
Why did we decide to do covers? I think what started the group, we were inspired by covers and pop music, that we wanted to just like arrange fun covers. That's how we started. And well,
That's, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's how we started, and it was kind of a,
So,
it was a good way to
Pass it along and
to reintroduce the group
Take it
because
away,
we have a new member, and it just felt like the right move at the time. We had just come off of this huge tour from the original record, and there were so many songs from last year that we were obsessed with, pop songs, and it was sort of just a really great reintroduction.
it was a way to introduce Matt too. We
Right.
put out a bunch of new videos. Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get back to singing originals at any point?
Oh, totally.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
Yeah,
that,
I was-
is that
I
part
was
of the
literally
master
texting-
plan?
definitely.
Yeah, we'll always do both. I was literally texting a songwriter yesterday about an original idea I had for Pentatonix, so we're working on that.
But I think it is nice to kind of have this like branded idea of what covers are, since they are such a part of our journey into where we are today. Now we can kind of do that, however many times we want, or with however many different genres we want as well, which is always just fun. We love doing that, and then it adds variety to our set, and yeah.
And some of the iconic, like Daft Punk, like this
Right.
is like iconic, like Pentatonix things. When you think of Pentatonix, there have been the covers. And so as a fan, I've always loved the covers and always wanted to be a part of the covers. So it's cool that we got to do that and do the volumes, and hopefully more volumes.
Yeah.
So on the new record, of course, it's mostly voice, but Kevin, you play the cello, and also on the new record, there is a credit of you playing flugelhorn. You want to explain that?
Oh man, yeah. I guess at the end of Havana, we thought it'd be cool to have some sort of trumpet / flugelhorn type sound. So I just kind of messed within the studio and found these licks that I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun to do.
Is
Definitely.
there an actual credit that says Flug?
Yeah, is there an actual credit?
I didn't know.
I saw it somewhere.
Wow.
It's a credit on the
Oh, you
internet.
didn't know that?
That's how
It's on
real
the
it
internet.
sounds.
Great. Thank you for that.
But it made me wonder about how you approach arrangements, about if you're covering a song that has a guitar on it, that has a synth on it, that has a weird instrument. Do you think about matching it? Do you think about reproducing the sound of the original or not?
Not really.
We take the essence of it. I would like in our cover of "Stay" by Zed. There's that really famous drop in it, but we didn't want to recreate it with voices because it would be really hard to do, and it would probably sound ridiculous. So we sort of took it in another direction, made it a little slower and more romantic.
Right.
Yeah.
But still kept the essence of the song.
Yeah, I would say that the hard thing is that when you try to recreate a sound, that just brings up this idea, kind of a world of comparison with other songs and other sounds. And I think for what we do as a cappella, you don't want to compare because what we do is so different. But the cool thing is that if there is a great song out there, I personally think, to an extent, it doesn't matter where the song lies and what genre. If a great song is a great song, then you can kind of cover it in any genre, it'll be good. So that's why what we do, I think, we just try to put our own ideas just with voices. You don't have to recreate certain parts because the song is so good. So we'll just utilize what we have as our tools.
And it puts the focus on the whole idea of arrangement.
Exactly.
Which is something
Right.
that you guys are obviously great at. And 2 of the 3 Grammys you've won are for arranging,
Yes.
which usually means somebody orchestrates or somebody arranges for a band of many instruments, but your arrangements are vocals. I think they're the only Grammys for pure vocal arrangements, which is incredible.
Yeah. I'm not
think
sure
so.
if that's true, but if it's true, that's really cool, yeah.
We're almost to the point where we're going to take some questions from you guys. So think of some good short questions. But in just a few minutes.
Sure.
Okay, looking on the stage, 2 of you Matt and Kirsten are wearing what I would call kinky boots.
Yeah. Yeah,
However, only one of you is actually in the Broadway show Kinky Boots.
yes.
Take a guess.
Yeah.
Kirsten,
Hey.
you've been in the cast for the last couple of months. You're singing through May 3rd.
May 3rd, yes.
And she's even just a few blocks from here. You're singing this afternoon.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
3 p.m. matinee.
Working hard.
Tell us about how that came about and how do you juggle doing a daily Broadway gig with being in Pentatonix?
Yes, it is very hard. It came along just through our agency group, and that's how I got started in music. What made me fall in love with it in the first place was musical theater. It was like definitely my passion, and my like little kid dream was like, I want to be on Broadway. That was like my forever dream. And so when this opportunity came along, it just really came at a really wonderful time. And I moved out to New York and have been doing it. And it's just been so amazing and so wonderful. And I feel like I've learned so much. I was thinking coming into it, I was like, well, you know, on tour, it's an hour-and-a-half set of all a cappella, so you're consistently singing, and could be 2 shows in a row, 3 shows in a row. And I was like, oh, I feel like pretty prepared. But then as I've been in the show, I've been like, wow, this is everyone's year. This is their entire life. And there's no like, oh, we're on tour for 6 months, so just kind of scream it out at the end and you're good. It's like, this is like every single day. They're doing 8 shows a week with 1 day off. And it's like, it's insane. But I feel like it's been really fun, and I've learned so much from the people that I've worked with, and they're so amazing. And I've learned a lot about just, I would say I've learned a lot about like saying no to things. So this is probably like the busiest weekend of my life. I've like overcommitted to like 10 million things because I want to say yes to everything. But yeah, I've learned so much from all of them, and I just, you know, I try to drink as much water. I have a lot of like very like holistic like remedies to like do. Like I feel like my dressing room is like a little like holistic pharmacy for myself. And yeah, and just focus and schedule, and you just have to stay on your game and make sure you go to bed and just really take care of yourself. I'm literally doing like everything possible to make sure to take care of myself, just because, you know, we have so much to do, and I want that to be successful, and I want obviously all my shows to be successful, and yeah.
I actually got to see, I think Scott too.
Yeah,
Got
they've
to
come
see
and
her.
seen me.
It was
It's
amazing.
good. The
It's
show's
phenomenal.
so good.
Yeah, you have
She
to go
kills
see
it.
it. It's really
Have y'all
great.
seen it yet?
Yeah.
Like 6 times, girl.
That's awesome.
But
How
yeah,
many of you have seen her in the show already? And how many are like checking your phone right now on Ticketmaster or StubHub to get a ticket
Brady's in
before
it,
May
David
3rd?
Cook is in it.
Oh, yeah.
They're amazing. Oh, good.
Other side projects or other extracurricular activities you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, we have a side project. We have Superfruit.
We just did like our first few shows
yeah.
ever. And they went so well. It's so fun and so insanely different from Pentatonix. They're both fun in different ways, but it's been cool.
Okay, we are almost at the point where we're going to have questions. There's going to be microphones in the 2 aisles for people to line up and ask questions. Hopefully it'll be there very shortly.
Excuse me.
So I want to, I asked earlier about kind of the arrangement and the practice. The videos that really amazed me the most, I think, are some of the evolution videos that you've done, which are so complex, and there's so many transitions, and there's so many quick changes. How much work, like how long does it take to put those together?
Those take a
hardest.
while.
They're
Very
pretty
long
lengthy.
time.
The arrangement process is very long.
Yeah.
One of them took like a couple months.
That's one that we all have to be together for every part of it, because each song and key change and transition is so crucial and important. We have to all be there to make
Yeah,
sure
that
that
one we
everything
really
works and is doable,
Yeah.
you know?
Is it a matter of weeks of doing that?
Can be.
Yeah.
Evolution of music took weeks. Because we had a bunch of meetings about what songs we were going to do.
And
Went a lot of
order
songs,
and-
though.
Exactly.
MJ didn't take, Michael Jackson didn't take as long.
No,
Right?
but
It
it
was
I don't
took a long
think
time.
Michael Jackson and
Fast,
Beyonce took
but-
as long because we kind of
Oh, and
outlined
Beyonce, right,
it.
right.
But those were
Beyonce
done-
was fast, I remember.
Yeah.
But those were done without sheet music.
Yeah.
So that's what made that hard. We
Yeah.
just did that one by ear.
But Beyonce was fast because we were all like, this is exactly what we want.
Because we knew the music so well. We were like,
But they can take they take the longest time.
Is that that's the longest, hardest kind of?
Yeah.
any medley, yeah.
All right, we got a lot of questions here. Okay, so here are the rules, all right? One short question, and it's got to be a question. Okay, gentleman here.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm a teacher. I taught in Arlington, Texas for
Oh, cool.
4 years and
wow.
on Center Street. So I remember seeing the
Oh,
promo
wow.
reel for Sing Off and saw you guys in Lincoln Square dancing around the
Yeah,
fountain.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's
Oh
where
my
I
God,
teach.
Oh, funny.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
I've been away for a couple of years from Texas now. I was wondering for the trio, especially since you guys are from Arlington, went to Martin, what do you guys miss most about Arlington or Texas in general?
Oh, just like knowing the streets and being able to park anywhere. And like my family's third. Yeah, I'm just kidding. My mom and sister are here. No, it's just home is home. You know what I mean? You grow up there, and it just feels so good to drive those streets.
Yeah, it's comfortable and it's quiet
Yeah.
and your family's there and
The second you land, I feel like you just immediately feel relaxed. Like
Nostalgic,
everywhere
yeah.
I go, it feels and like with like my friends who are like in Dallas or in Fort Worth, and I'm just like, I just feel like it's so easy. I can just like breathe and just like relax and hang out, and like family too. Yeah, that's like our time to like return to peace.
Do you guys miss the food at all? The barbecue, the Tex-Mex?
Oh,
And
yeah,
queso,
big
of course.
time,
Yeah,
queso.
and queso. Yeah.
Mainly queso.
Mainly queso.
Scratch the rest of the answer. Queso.
Family is third now. Queso. Right? Just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over here.
First off, nice to see you all again.
You too.
I've been a fan of yours for about 2 years now. It's been a wonderful experience, and thank you guys for all you do for us. We really appreciate it. So my question is there one artist that the five of you would love to do a song with together that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
Jeez, Celine Dion.
Oh, Celine Dion. Yeah.
Oh, Celine
Dion's
Dion
fine.
would be amazing.
That'd be hard.
That would be hard. I would not. I would be so stressed out.
that seems like a good one though, huh?
It is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with Celine.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Thank you again.
Check our YouTube channel in a week. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Celine, if you're out there.
Talk about work ethic.
Over here.
Maria, science writer. When musicians' instruments break, they can buy another one, and you have your voice. What do you physiologically do to protect your voice box?
Oh,
I mean, like hydrate. I know that's such like a cliche answer, hydrate, but people don't even realize that they're not hydrating enough. Like I feel like it took till our fourth tour to be like,
Yeah.
oh, now I can
Yeah,
control
yeah,
my voice.
Exactly.
And I always have to drink like a bunch of water the day before. That's my main thing.
well, and you have to think like your body and what you intake. This is your instrument. So if you're going to be eating pizza at 4 a.m. and drinking, and then you wake up and do a show the next day, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm miserable. So you just have to properly. I mean, we're all much healthier than when we started.
Yeah.
We all drink much more water. We get much more sleep. And,
We let the microphone do the work too. We sing a lot lighter on stage than we used to. We used to belt.
Yeah.
Like back when we were doing dog days and stuff, I was
Scream.
giving
Oh
you a
my
full
I was
scream.
screaming. It is crazy too how like this might sound silly and everyone's like obviously, but like when you give your body and your voice like a day of rest, an actual day of rest, it's amazing how it can heal itself. Like it
like, oh,
truly
sleep.
is. I'm like, wow, I feel amazing. So yeah, just you know, taking care of your body, however that is, if it's working out, if it's
Sleeping.
eating healthy, if it's sleeping, if it's, you know,
Yeah.
that's
Lots
what
of
we do.
sleep.
You can't buy
Wow.
another one, you're right.
Thank you.
Well, if you play guitar and you have a cough, you can still go on stage and play,
Yeah.
right? But you guys have, you have to have your voice in shape all the time. Are you ever worried if you get that feeling like, I think I'm gonna be sick?
Oh, that's
Yes.
the worst.
Yeah.
That's the
What
worst.
Yeah.
What do you do?
We go to the doctor immediately. I feel like we just handle it immediately because we know our bodies so well and our voices so well that even if we start to feel it, we know that something needs to be handled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if
Well,
you
because-
don't, like, it's really bad.
Well, and also we're always constantly working, so you can't kind of be like, oh, I'll just kind of let it run its course because there's no time to let it run its course. You have to kind of like get it while it's ahead or
Yeah.
Yeah.
be kind of over analyzing it because there's no time to recover.
As a bass singer, when I'm sick, I sing lower. So like, it's like.
Scratch everything I said. Matt
So I'm
is
like
the
a little
opposite.
different, but I feel terrible. I could be like singing the lowest I've ever sung in my life, but I feel terrible. So it's like either what are you gonna do? You know?
Matt, how low can you go when you're not sick?
When I'm not sick, probably the lowest Comfortably is a B1. A1. When I'm sick, who knows? I'm sick.
world is his oyster.
It's so funny. Me and my friend, one of my good friends, Tracy Robertson, whenever we're both singers, we're both bass singers. So whenever we're sick, we send each other videos in the morning. We're like, we sing still like, yeah. It's like so funny. It's like, who can sing the best sick, you know?
What's it like? What's it like?
Must be nice. Must be so nice.
That's so
Hey,
funny.
over here, we got a question.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a big fan. I was wondering if you guys get like anxiety before you get on stage, and if you do, like, what do you do to like combat that and stop that from happening?
Yeah, when we're sick, we definitely get
Yeah.
anxiety
Yes.
on stage. I also get anxiety for live TV shows sometimes when they're completely live, and I'm like, I could like do or say anything, and you're like, you get freaked out. But I feel like we rehearse so much; it's just a muscle memory thing. I'll be like, can we run it 6 more times? That way, even if I blank on stage, which I tend to blank sometimes, I can just like muscle memory my way through it.
Yeah.
I just remembered, like, I regulate my breathing. I feel like that's kind of the first thing that goes, like, when I get anxiety, and then and then everything gets like really stressful. And so I feel like, as an advice thing, I would just take a moment if you do get anxiety and just kind of like breathe for a second and relax into that, because I hate the most like when I'm nervous about something and then I start shaking and then it all just kind of like, I feel like my body starts losing control. And so I feel like if you start it with just like, I know, I'm like, if you just start with it and just breathe and like relax into it. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously prepare as much as possible so you can go to muscle memory, you know.
I give myself a pep talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Pep talks? Yes, I do now. I
I'd be like,
do
you're
that
gonna
now.
kill it. You got this.
I know.
I'm like,
It's
thanks,
important to say
Scott.
that. You need to be like proud of yourself in your work. You have to pep talk yourself up because it is important.
Yeah.
So-
I would also say things that help me are anchor words that keep me very focused on what I'm doing. Because there are certain words, like if I say sync, for some reason, like when I'm playing cello and beatboxing, it's like everything syncs up together and I'm just focused on what I'm doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, like there's just anchor words that I have that I use.
It made me think of.
Oh, you're thinking sync.
I thought of Get Out. The sink into the floor.
No.
That's what I thought too. I was like, that has a negative connotation.
No, right. SYNC, sync. Sorry. And then also, I would say sometimes it's not like the preparation, because you can be prepared as possible, but then you get on stage and that's where things kind of happen. So I'd say like prepare by performing. So like sometimes like before like a concert, I'll have friends come over and say, hey, I want to perform for you. And that helps me because then I get used to how my body physiologically feels when I'm performing. And so like every single time you go on stage, you kind of shake hands with that anxiety because you know how it feels when you perform it, but you've kind of controlled it because you've performed so many times that thing. So that really helps.
Shake hands with your anxiety.
Yeah,
like
shake
that.
hands. Serious. Like,
I think you've got another career as a therapist. 'Cause that's good
you know what's
advice.
funny? My dad's a psychiatrist.
I was like,
Okay.
There it is.
Kevin, is there anything special that you have to do with all the beatboxing to prepare or protect your voice doing that?
That's interesting. Not really. It's funny because even like whenever I'm sick, I'm usually able to kind of get through it, just kind of like Matt. I mean, not my voice is low or anything, but like, yeah, I'm usually able to get through it pretty well. I just feel miserable for sure. I mean, I remember when we were in Indonesia or somewhere, and I was completely sick. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And like, I'm having to play this cello beatbox solo, and I'm like, I don't want to be here at all. And also, like, I usually play the whole show because I do the cello beatbox solo so that they can kind of take a break and recover. So I'm just like, this is terrible. I don't want to be here.
There was what was the show where you were like sneezing every 10 seconds?
Yeah, and it's funny because sometimes I'll sneeze and I'll be like, hopefully this just sounds like a beatbox sound. You know what I mean? So.
But knowing Kevin, he'll like add it to the beat.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So I'll just try to do that. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your question. These are great questions, guys. One more over here.
My name's Camille. I first discovered you back in 2008 in middle school, and now I'm graduating college in a month. So it's been 10 years, so it's been crazy.
Oh, wow.
So my question is, so over the entire part of being in Pentatonix, music has evolved a lot. People do complain about mumble rap or pop being very generic. Do you feel that as an a cappella group you have to worry about that at all?
I feel like we're just inherently like unique because we don't have instruments, so we don't. But sometimes I do feel when we arrange that, like, is this getting bland? Is this getting repetitive? Just because we've done hundreds of arrangements at this point. But
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I guess because of what we do, we don't necessarily think about, oh, what's going on in modern music? Like, what's the texture of the times musically? I don't think we necessarily have to think about that because what we do is so separated from that. So we just kind of do what we do.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, now they're over here.
Hi, guys. I'm Sophia. I love you guys. I can't wait to see you this.
Sophia.
Hi. This summer on tour. I'm so excited to see you guys. My question is, what's one of the most memorable or like special experiences you guys have had with your like friends or family, like as a result of your success with Pentatonix that you might not have had you not had Pentatonix in your life?
I mean, specific moments I can't really think of, but I just know every time I go home, there's just so much excitement. Like my family's so happy for me, and they're always like watching videos over and over. And then my extended family's always so happy at Thanksgiving. It's a great conversation starter. But no, just the energy is really cool because everyone's so pumped. Yeah.
I think Kinky Boots right now is that to me because. I mean, obviously, without Pentatonix, I would have hoped this was what I would have dreamed that I would have gotten to eventually. Hopefully, I would have hoped.
You would have.
But it was really cool. My mom and my dad came over, and my mom has always been like, my mom was like the most selfless parent in the entire world, and took me to all my rehearsals and did everything for me to succeed. And so having her in the audience and my opening night on Broadway was just like. The best feeling in the world, and I like wrote it in the play, but like gave her like a little shout out because it's exciting when we've all had such supportive family, and so it's so exciting when you get to achieve your goals because it's not just you achieving your goals, it's you and your family achieving your goals because they've also worked so hard and they've been there to pick you up and they've been there to take you to the doctor and
And the voice lessons.
and voice lessons and everything, and so it's cool to share those successes that you've worked on with them because it means as much or probably more to them.
Yeah.
Does it make it more difficult to spend time with your family and keep in touch when you are on the road and working like you are?
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, my mom calls me every day, so we stay in touch. Yeah, but seeing them in person is difficult sometimes.
No.
Yeah, my mom's gonna show up at every show, so I'm just assuming that she's gonna be there. So I'm just happy.
Same.
So if she shows up, it's not like I'm not surprised. I'm like, oh hey mom.
Yeah.
Young lady over here.
Hi, I'm Remy. Are there any fans that you just like recognize immediately? Like, oh, I remember you from this show.
Yeah, literally. Every one of
All the fans here is thinking.
Yeah, we've done so many tours. Was that the end of your question? Sorry, did we cut you? Oh, we've done so many tours now and so many meet and greets that we've met a lot of the fans, and we definitely remember them.
Yeah.
And I'm like a Twitter stalker too, so I follow all of y'all.
It's so cool to see the new merch too. Like I
haven't seen it yet.
Like,
Yeah, I love it.
Is it? I mean, you guys are really good and really known for communicating with fans using social media. But is it a two-way street? I mean, like, do you answer their questions? Do you retweet them?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I do a lot of favoriting or like.
Very interactive.
Yeah.
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 So if 6 months from now I ask a question, somebody's going to answer me?
You got it.
Yeah.
All right.
You're official.
yeah.
Everyone follow Ben.
Over here.
Hey guys.
Hey. We know her?
Yeah.
So your newest album is Top Pop Volume 1. So I was wondering if you guys are entering another trilogy like PTX Volume 1 through 3, and like if so, how will that stack up against the other trilogy?
Oh, like the classics and stuff?
No,
Like-
PTX Volume 1 through 3.
Oh,
So the new album is
we
called
started
Volume 1.
PTX Volume 1 to 3. We already did. So
Got it.
what is this?
So that one.
I got it. Here, wait.
Or is it like
that
Star
one is,
Wars,
that one
where
is
it's
complete.
like episodes 7, 8, 9?
That one is finished.
Totally. It's like the new Star Wars trilogy. It's like no, but that one's done, and then now we're starting this one. And
It's yes. It's a separate.
It's a separate thing.
Is it gonna be only pop?
Maybe we could do Top Country Volume 1, or like there's other things we could do.
oh my gosh.
Well, we won't do that.
It's not. I guess not.
It'll start with that yodeling boy,
Glad we tested that one out. Jeez.
who is so good, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
I watch.
Do any of you guys have sort of surprising influences or genres of music that you're into that you may not sing about in Pentatonix?
I do have a soft spot for country, for sure.
Well, you won a Grammy Award for country performance.
Crazy.
With Dolly Parton.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anything else? Is anybody like a secret fan of avant-garde jazz or, you know? I guess not over there.
It's a no from me.
I really like techno, like bland, boring to everyone else techno. That's what excites me and gets me up in the morning.
Could you do a cappella
variety.
bland techno?
I think that we maybe wouldn't ever do it.
Maybe something that like references it.
Yeah.
It's a hard no.
Okay. I have an unrelated vocal question.
Sure.
Who has the higher range, Mitch or Kirsten?
I
don't actually know.
I don't know. Because sometimes it'll like be like hitting these super high notes.
Well,
I'm
you
like,
can do real whistle notes. I just inhale and do like incorrect ones. But you have really high notes.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
Kevin
has a
maybe.
really high.
But so do you.
Because Kevin goes
So
really
is-
low.
I don't know. It's them.
Do you guys ever have competitions over this?
Oh my God, can you imagine? That sounds annoying.
No competitions, but maybe we'll film it one of these.
Yeah. Right now, live.
We have a young man who's patiently been waiting to ask a question over here.
Hi.
Have you ever created like a whole new song instead of adding on to old ones?
Oh, like original music.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did a whole album of original music that you'll have to check out. I think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
What's your
thank
name?
you.
Tyler?
Hi, Tyler.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tyler, do you sing?
No.
I get that.
The only thing you can do.
Okay. Thanks for the question, Tyler. Over here.
Hi, my name's Olivia, and I've seen y'all a lot of times live, and your set list kind of stays the same, like throughout a tour. So, is there any songs that you've covered in the past, or wrote originally in the past, that you would want to perform this tour coming up that you haven't already, or you did a long time ago and want to do it again?
Oh, like really old ones, like kind of bring
like
back.
Volume 1, Volume 2.
Yeah, Baddest like Girl. We'll just do Baddest Girl 16 times.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some like Dog Days.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
want to
like
get
as
all
like
hopes
a
up or anything. So probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, maybe like as like a small reference to like our beginnings, maybe something like that. But I mean, we have so much new material that we just kind of put as an album that I feel like it would be
We'll
so
do a lot
exciting.
of those, yeah.
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 We would have to go
We'll
way
probably do
back.
Daft Punk again, you guys.
Selfishly, I would love to sing all that stuff.
I would do Love Lockdown again.
So, like, and
I
I
would go-
know it. Hashtag, I know it.
I would go like way back, but like ones that we've been doing on tour that need to go to bed.
It's time.
Like cheerleader.
It's time.
He's old.
It is time.
Okay,
Is-
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there any room for improvisation when you're on stage, or do you have to stick to arrangements?
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll have a moment where he changes the beat up. We'll be like,
Yes,
okay,
that
cool.
would definitely. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
mild.
Yes.
It's musical. It's not like you're gonna go change the song. And,
Right.
Like, it's my moment. Like
Yeah.
it's musical.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the trio does, that stays pretty set, but I think Matt and I could just have some fun. and
Yeah.
just, you know,
The
live
I'll
on
change
spot.
the riffs
Yeah,
up
the rhythm's
sometimes.
like-
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
always go well. But I try to change up. It also, like later in the tour, when we're on like show 37, that's when I start changing things up to keep it fresh.
39.
Yeah.
Over here.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. So my question is, how did you come up with the name Pentatonix?
So we were trying to think of like puns.
Oh, yeah.
I think Fifth Harmony was actually
Fifth
a name
Harmony
that we
was
came up
actually
with.
a name.
That was.
But yeah, we were just coming up with a bunch of different names, and Pentatonix is based off the pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale that's used in lots of different cultures, and it's like naturally understood by the human brain. It's like a really cool scale. And so there's 5 people in the group, so we So we decided to call it Pentatonix. We added the X to make it cooler. And I just remember NBC being like, that is hard to say, spell, remember.
Yeah.
So they were like, so you have to find a different name. I had an idea. I watched Ready Player One the other day, and High Five would have been a cool name for a group, right?
That's cute.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Too late. But
I mean, I'm glad we have Pentatonix.
I am too.
I like it too.
That would have been a good one. All the other ones, all the other options we had were very bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Plead the Fifth was another one.
Like, why?
So Pentatonix we're happy with.
Yeah.
Even though we sound like a metal band.
Okay, you guys, we only have time for 2 more questions, okay? And that's because we're gonna have more music.
So everyone stayed at the same time.
I'm sorry, we have to stick to the people who are at the mic, okay?
Cool.
Sorry.
You can sit down, okay? Over here is next, thank you.
Hi, my name's Miles. I've been your fan since like the sing-off, and I'm so excited to see you this summer.
Oh, awesome.
And I was wondering, are there any songs you've been meaning to cover, but you've just like never really got into them in the albums that you've put out?
Oh man, I don't know right now.
Well, we actually arranged a song that I was so pumped to record. We never recorded it.
Which one?
Cologne.
Can you tell us that?
Cologne by
Oh
Clean Bandit.
yeah, we should think about.
We should.
That's actually really good.
I've had a resurgence of love for that.
Yeah, that's a great song. I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody was one of those for a long time. Because we were just like, there is.
Kept putting it off.
Yeah, we were like, there is absolutely no way.
It's usually the classics that we love
Yeah.
that we're just scared to touch because they're so classic.
Yeah.
Okay, over here, a real
Thank
quick
you.
question.
Hi, I'm Ava. My question is, how did you figure out that singing was your thing, like your favorite?
Aw. I think it's very different for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
What? I mean, I've only been singing recently, but I've really, I don't know, just listening to them has been really inspiring me. And it's something that you kind of have to just gain confidence as you do more music, as you try more things. And for me, it came from a place of understanding that you can only do what you do best. I don't know, Sting told me that. He was just like, for him, he's like, as an artist, I write songs that work extremely well for me. And when I finally understood that, when he said that, I said, okay, wow, that really inspires me to sing. I want to do stuff that is, from my heart and my soul and start to sing those things. So then that's when I started taking voice lessons and starting to learn more about my voice.
Okay, one more thing. There was a young man over here who was waiting very patiently. Do you want to just shout out your question?
Yeah, we can hear you from here. I like your hoodie.
Oh my gosh.
You want to repeat the question so everyone could hear?
Yeah. So he asked, he said we sang on Casey Undercover, which is a Disney show, and if we've sung on any other shows.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
Sesame
done
Street.
a bunch.
Sesame Street.
We did the Muppets.
Yeah, I did the Muppets. That was fun.
That was fun.
Ah.
We've been on, oh my gosh, I'm blanking now.
Yeah.
A lot of like live
We
TV
did
shows, all the
Bones.
late night shows. and
We
stuff.
were on Bones.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, we were on Bones.
You were on Bones?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
Bones. It was a right.
We played, it was like an a cappella murder. If you couldn't have guessed.
Weren't y'all the killer?
No, I think that, I was accused. We were accused, but it was someone else who.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, that's right.
What other
Okay.
shows? I can't think. Little Big Shots. We were on Lip Sync Battle recently.
Yeah, that was fun.
Drop the mic.
Okay, guys, those
my
were all
God.
really terrific questions. And now we're going to have some more music.
Shall we?
Yeah. Just sing along, okay? Yeah. This is the opener from our new album.
Cool. Also, this has been really fun. Thank you guys so much
This has
for
been
having
fun.
us.
Thanks for coming out.
You guys are such an amazing
Thanks for
audience.
having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, we're doing it?
Here we go.
You run around around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd call you a baby. You've been going around every party in LA. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd be your one. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I know the dress is karma, perfume regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Thinking about when you were mine. And now I'm all up on you. What you expect, yeah, 'cause you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention, you don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. Oh, dum dum da da, dum dum da da, dum dum da da.
Run around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd call you up. Baby, now that we're right to stand face to face, you are ready to let you want.
I know that dress is gone, perfume regret, yeah. Got me thinking back when you were mine. I know what you expect, yeah. 'Cause you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention, you don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you, over you.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Oh, no. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You just want attention.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing?
You're just making sure.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing?
Yeah, you just want attention.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing?
You're just making sure I'm never getting over you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's our first time performing it.
That's fun.
Thank you so much.
That's one of those ones that we rehearse like 6 times at soundcheck. Okay, this next one's called Havana.
Half of my heart is in Havana, oh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. There's something about his manners, Havana, oh, na.
He didn't walk up without how you doing.
Ooh, and he came with me.
He said there's a lot of girls I can't do it.
Oh, but I can't wait for you.
Do it forever in a minute.
Ooh, that's on the night in
And Papa
June.
says he got my love in him.
He got me feeling like
I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like ooh. And then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh, na 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 na.
Havana, oh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, oh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana. Havana, Havana.
Jeffrey just graduated fresh on campus. Oh, he's fresh out East Atlanta with no manners, yeah. Bumper to bumper, like a traffic jam. I was quick to play that girl like Uncle Sam. Ooh, I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like ooh. And then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh, na 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 na.
Havana, oh, na, na. Half of my heart you. Thank you guys so much once again for your Pentatonix. And thanks to everyone at home streaming there.
Thanks, everybody.
We love you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks, guys.
We are going to end with an original song dedicated to you, Tyler. This is called Cracked. I broke something I'll never get back. Brought me to my knees. A head like steel and a soul of gold, and a heart that's made of glass. But mine's cracked. Come on, whoa. But mine's cracked. Whoa. But mine's cracked. Whoa. But mine's cracked. You stole something I'll never get back. Left a hole in me. And all I see is horns and a heart that's still intact. Hey, but mine's cracked. Whoa, but mine's cracked. Whoa, oh, no idea where I'm going. And there's no looking back. I'm cracked. Whoa. Fire rising inside me, lie, you treat me so bad. My oh my, you hurt me so gladly. Why oh why you do me like that? Fire rising inside me, lie, you treat me so bad. My oh my, you hurt me so gladly. Why oh why you do me like that? Hey, fire rising inside me, lie, you treat me so bad. My oh my, you hurt me so gladly. Why oh why you do me like that? But mine's cracked. Whoa, but mine's cracked. Whoa, no idea where I'm going. And there's no looking back. I'm cracked. Whoa, just sing it with me now. Whoa. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you guys so much.
Thanks for coming out today, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, now, Pentatonix.
Thank you.